What will it do for society? How will it better our community? How will it help people? And of course, that question, will it replace us? So let's talk about the benefits. The benefits of ASI include enhanced decision making. So if you have ASI, superintelligence, it could help solve complex global challenges. And I think that could be a good thing. Revolutionize problem solving, that could be a great thing, right? For sciences, math, medicine, engineering, even journalism and media and marketing and advertising and law. I mean, the idea that a system could be as smart or even smarter than us could be of help when we're figuring out problems or solutions to problems. Now, the big one I think is going to be the question is creativity. Can AGI or ASI really be the model for creativity? If you talk to artists and writers and those who make their living and create original work, there is a big question mark there. But what if these tools could help humans be even more creative than imagined? It's a question. And because it's not here yet, it's something to consider and worry and wonder about. The other thing the ASI could do is it could remove human bias. And that's a big one. Because even though certainly these tools have bias, as many of you know, and where does that bias come from? It comes from because humans have programmed these tools. And we can see examples of the bias in all kinds of ways. I know for myself, anytime I'm running or trying to create a photo of myself, and certainly when I started, I noticed that the skin color wasn't just right. And what I've learned from some of the speakers on this show is that they are taking in data from the data that is already there. So if newspapers, magazines, television shows, all of that is based on a predominant, let's say, mainstream society, and that society is of one race, one ethnicity, one background, one gender, then that is where we can start to see the bias. Imagine a system where it takes out that human bias. I can't imagine how it would be right now because humans are going to be involved in every step of the way as these things are developed. But I'm very curious and interested in finding out if this can work. Those are just some of the benefits. Are there any risks? You bet. So, risks, loss of human control. And this is what so many books, shows, and movies in the fiction realm have kind of touched upon or tackled, right? What happens when your super tool isn't super cool anymore? What happens if that tool becomes violent or mischievous or takes matters into their own hands? So, loss of human control is a very big concern when it comes to ASI. ASI might become too powerful to manage. What else? Well, economics, right? If you've got everything automating everything else and it's smarter, faster, and all of that than us, I'm thinking bionic man and bionic woman back in the 70s, then where do we stand as humans? And that is a real concern when it comes to jobs. Another risk of ASI is existential, which is uncontrolled ASI could pose threats to humanity. And that one in itself is a scary one to consider. But it's definitely important to talk about here as I talk about this thing called ASI and as we wonder about the future. My hope in saying that out loud is that humans from all sectors and all backgrounds are involved in the making of these tools and systems that are supposed to help us and not replace us. I think as long as we can keep discussions like this going on and be the voice of reason, I think we stand a better chance to avoid that threat of uncontrolled ASI becoming too powerful. Now, this hasn't even tackled the ethical dilemmas because that's a big question now as we use AI tools in our everyday lives. What are the ethics for every sector, every firm? What is the ethics for an artist or a writer creating story? How can these AI tools be used ethically, but help to have artists and writers and musicians and others do what they love in that creative mode, but do it better, do it faster, do it on their own when they don't have a budget, when they don't have a team, when they don't have personal assistants or editors. And this can be true for other sectors. I'm thinking of friends who are lawyers and friends who are in many other sectors, and they're thinking, wow, I would love to have an assistant or a tool that can help me become more efficient in the day. But the ethical considerations are there. And what do we do about it?